Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Hills. Just out of curiosity, just take a poll here. This is an event for parents and students at Central Middle School and Brooklawn. But just out of curiosity, how many families here are Brooklawn families? Awesome. How many are Central Middle School families? Awesome. It's about an even split, like 50-50. Great. I am Matt Thompson. I am the principal at the Hills. This is Kelly Curtis. She's a supervisor of math and business. I didn't leave anything out, right? Oh, and computer science. I'm sorry. That's going to be a key thing we're going to talk about tonight. And Rachel Villanova, science and applied technology. Thank you. I should know that. So thank you for coming tonight. This is not something that we've run in the past, but it's become more apparent to us that 7th and 8th grade parents, and the attendance here tonight, I think, is a testament to how invested parents are in their child's educations now and how soon the planning is for their future, for college and everything else. And it starts earlier and earlier and earlier. And I know that all of you want to put your sons and daughters in the best position possible for their future, so for colleges and everything else. I think one of the key things in education, traditionally, we have always looked at our programs and we've always reevaluated AP scores, tests, college admissions, and things like that. And we've always evaluated our programs and we've added things, and our focus has always been on just building the program and improving the program. One thing that traditionally we have not done in public school is market what we're doing. And I think that's been a huge deficit that we've had, and it's become more and more apparent to us because what we see now in education is that it's becoming increasingly competitive. So I think one of the things that we look at if a student ever goes to another school or academy or private school is to say, well, why did they leave? And sometimes they have a very specific program and they want to become a certified mechanic or something like that. And there's times where someone goes, I want my son or daughter to have a Catholic or a religious a school. And there's sometimes where we say, you know what, we can't do that, and that's what you want for your child, and that's great. But I think sometimes when a student chooses to go to another school and we hear, well, we wanted to go because of the STEM opportunities, then we kind of go, well, whoa. And that's what makes it clear to us is that we need to do a better job of marketing our programs and making the parents aware of what we have to offer. So I think tonight is not a one-off where we just present everything and we tell you, all right, go make a decision, okay? So we're going to put a survey at the end, but what I want you to realize is that myself, Mrs. Carucci, the principal at the high, myself, Kelly Curtis, Rachel Villanova, all of us will make ourselves available that if you hear other programs and you want to compare and you go visit them, and at the end you just want to come back and have an ongoing conversation throughout 7th or 8th grade, absolutely we'll be willing to have that. And there may be times where you say, we want this program and it offers this and that, and then we may just say to you, yeah, you're right, we don't offer that. I think those are few and far between, but we very well might tell you that. But there's other times where you say, well, what about X? And I say, well, we have that, and here it is. And so as you came in, there was flyers in the back. We're going to give you an overview of a lot what we have to offer and a lot of the classes that we're adding and the partnerships that we have with NJIT. We have other partnerships with Fairleigh Dickinson for business and things like that. Rather than go through all of them, because it's going to be a ton of information, we wanted to put it in a flyer. We wanted to give you an overview tonight of everything, and we're going to stick around. So if you have questions and things like that, we'll stick around and answer whatever questions you may have. So hopefully, at the end of the night, we'll give you a survey, and some of them, almost all of them, are just kind of open-ended questions. So we're curious about your feedback and the kind of things that you're considering as you're making decisions over the next couple of years. So like I said, we know that there's a lot of options. And I have 2 high school juniors, and I have 1 high school freshman, and I have a 7th grader. So right now, I went through what you're deciding right now when my twins were in 8th grade. As my son last year was in 7th and 8th grade, when he was in 8th grade, my wife and I sit down, we look at their interests and things like that. All three of them are still in public education because they're in a good district and there's a lot of great opportunities. But being in education, my wife was a teacher, obviously I'm in education, so, we kind of have that inside track. But when you're not in education, I think as a school district, we need to do a better job of educating everybody about what we have to offer and, where our kids are going to school, the opportunities we have. And one of the things that are often, I think, everybody has questions about is the senior admissions process. And to be honest, in the past, we've waited until people were juniors and seniors and our counselors would meet with parents, and we have programs like Naviance where we bring the parents in and we start educating them on that. What we're finding out more and more is by then it's too late, right, about things like that. So hopefully by the end of tonight, you have a better idea of what both the High and the Hills have to offer, and you can make a more educated decision in the future. One of the people that we have a great partnership with at NJIT is Steve Eck, and he will, has more information about the college admissions process than I'll ever know, right? So rather than tell you what colleges are looking for, we wanted to bring in someone that's more knowledgeable than us to kind of talk a little bit about that, okay? So there's a lot of questions that I know that I've talked to parents about in the future, and it really has to do with opportunities, right? So one is, I guess my problem with specifying too early on, probably about 40% of college students end up changing majors at some point, like 30 to 40%. That's a lot. So to say at 7th and 8th grade, I want my student wants to be in the medical field. That's kind of tough, right? Or my son definitely wants to be in this type of engineering. Sometimes whether, like I can look at my son and I know he's more in that math engineering type field, right? My daughter's more language arts and things like that. So I have a general idea of kind of where their interests lie. But I think one of the great things about a public education is that, within our program, there's a lot of different avenues that you can go. And there's a lot of different ways that you can sample different experiences. And with our internships and our co-ops and things like that, to go out and get practical experience is another thing that we've added on the last couple of years, which is a tremendous experience as well. So the questions about, where will my child stand in the STEM? Like the first thing is I want to get my son or daughter into a school that's going to give them more opportunities, that looks attractive, a degree that's going to look attractive to employers when they get out. And so what does that look like? So we need to get them on the track in high school to make sure that they can do that. What kind of experiences, what do their transcripts need to look like? Right? That's a question that a lot of parents will have. What flexibility does this program have if my child just wants to sample things and kind of experience things, but also build a transcript? That they're not pigeonholed early on. And I think that's an important question. And where are the opportunities for application of learning? Whether they're competitions or different hackathons and things like that, like what are the opportunities that my son or daughter have to actually get practical experience? And I think those are questions that I often hear. You probably have many others, right? So again, if we don't answer them all tonight, or if there's questions that we don't cover, again, this is just the start of this conversation and this relationship, and this can continue over the next 1 or 2 years as you're making your decision about a secondary school. So with that, I would like to bring up Stephen Eck, our Executive Director of University Admissions at NJIT.
Thank you so much. Just to let you know, I was sitting where you are last evening, as I have an 8th grader, and I live in Morris Plains, so I don't live too far away. We're sitting in Borough School, and they were giving us all the options, right? And I think we are very fortunate where we live here in Morris County to have such wonderful and excellent academic choices. You have an opportunity here in the Parsippany Troy Hills School District, a unique opportunity, because NJIT really chose to partner with the school district to provide this really cool academic opportunity for you. And we're in our second cohort right now, so we have juniors and sophomores. And we're really excited eventually to have that first cohort in another 2 years join us at NJIT. it's never too early to start to think about college, right? Even as a 7th or 8th grader. Not that you should be consumed by it, all right? I don't want you to go home and say, I need to know now. But you need to understand that you're on that pathway to prepare for college, right? I think STEM, and again, I'm a little, I'm a little jaded here because I work at a STEM institution. STEM majors are a fabulous background or foundation for life. If we think about it, STEM is pervasive in everything we do. Technology, math, think about quantitative, data science, etc. It's all the foundation, and it's the foundation for the future. So having an opportunity to pursue a STEM curriculum in high school is going to prepare you and provide that strong foundation by which to build upon when you eventually get to college. So this is a great opportunity. The program we have here is what we call an advanced standing program. Basically, it gives you an advanced opportunity to get a guaranteed spot at NJIT upon graduation from one of the high schools here in Parsippany, all right? Think about that, a guarantee. We will vet your background in your first year, your freshman year, and as long as you achieve a 3.0 GPA or better in that first year, and you continue to maintain that throughout your career in high school, there is a spot waiting for you here at NJIT. It's not only that, it's also that we are looking at the curriculum here, and we're saying, you know what? We're going to take some of your credits, and we're going to give you college-level credits at NJIT. And we're also going to vet your faculty, the faculty here, the teachers here, so that they can teach an NJIT course while you're a junior or senior, and that credit, again, counts towards the degree here at NJIT. So it's giving you a head start. It's giving you a guarantee for admission. It's giving you a head start on your coursework at NJIT. This program we have, potentially you could bring in about 30 plus credits in, again, if everything, all stars all align properly, right? So there's always that little asterisk. But if all of those stars align properly, you could have your first year out of the way. Imagine that. And guess what? You're saving money, all right? Now, NJIT is a public university, right? So, our tuition and fees is a little bit less than a private institution. But don't let me kid you, I also have a sophomore in college, all right? And some of you may have children in college. You know that college is expensive regardless of whether it's a public or a private institution. This program provides you with a chance to save money, save time, and again, have peace of mind that I have a place at NJIT should I make that decision. And again, I say that because this is not something that's written in stone. So we're not asking you as 7th or 8th graders or even as a first-year student in high school, we're not asking you to commit to NJIT. You're simply signing up for the program. You're doing your part academically, and at the end of your 4 years, you're saying, okay, NJIT is on my list, and it's one of your choices. Now, some of the courses that we have, and especially the ones that we're going to offer through Parsippany, those are courses that you're going to pay a little bit of money for, okay? There's a $150 per credit fee. Does anyone know what the per credit fee right now is at NJIT? It's $774. I always have to look because it changes from year to year. $774. So those options courses, again, it's not a lot because we're taking credits from some of your other stuff you're doing already here. Very low cost, okay? You're saving tremendous amount there. And for those option courses, if you choose not to come to NJIT, you have an NJIT transcript, and guess what? You can take it with you to another school. So it's all about providing you with options, And of course, when it comes to STEM, listen, you guys are taxpayers, right? Everyone pays taxes? Yeah, everyone pays taxes, right? Guess what? You're helping to support NJIT. In addition to the school district, you have a public polytechnic university in your backyard, on par with Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, etc. All right? It is a gem. We just, U.S. News & World Report just ranked us in the top 100 nationally, top 50 for public universities. Forbes ranked us 78 in the country. So it's an excellent chance to be part of a national STEM institution. So I hope, and I'll be here throughout the evening and I can answer questions one-on-one, I hope you will strongly consider, A, the STEM program here at Parsippany, because it's a great one, all right? And again, we wouldn't link with this school district if we didn't have faith that they're doing an excellent job and going to prepare you for a STEM program at NJIT, all right? So that's number one, and you have an excellent chance to get that guarantee, that peace of mind that there's a place for me, there's a college for me, even as I'm finishing my first year in high school, and again, that opportunity to get a head start on college and save some money. So I think it's a win-win for all of us. So I don't know if I'm gonna, I think I'll stop there, but I'll be here this evening, and I'm very happy to answer individual questions, but I wanna let them get along with the rest of the program. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing you if you're seventh or if you're eighth, another year from now, if you're seventh, 2 years from now, and I hope to say welcome to the joint program with NJIT. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you come to the Higher the Hills, Steve has been excellent, and the conversations that he has as your son or daughter gets older, you'll find out more about the admissions process and the program and the shared program that we have. So in a minute, Kelly and Rachel are going to walk you through our STEM Pathways program. So what I would like to tell you is that this started about 2 years ago. My first year here at the Hills was 2019, and one person that I forgot to introduce, Melissa Carucci, right over there for all the Central Middle School people. Melissa is my secondary partner and constant in communication between the two schools. But one of the things that started when Kelly and Rachel started the STEM Pathways program, we had students, our first cohort is the current juniors. So we haven't had a full cohort go through for all 4 years through the Designated Staff Pathways program. So just to she'll let you know more about the program, but we had students that were eligible based on the courses that they've taken and the amount of opportunities that they accumulated over the 2 years that we gave them the STEM Pathways endorsement. So when they were in school, they heard about it. They couldn't start as freshmen, but they basically said, look, everything that you have in your program, I've met in my transcript. Can I get the STEM Pathways endorsement? And we thought, why not? So there was 5 students last year that graduated with it. From those 5 students, 3 of those students went to Rutgers and 2 of them went to Stevens. And if you know anything about how competitive both of those schools are, along with NJIT, they're very competitive. So based on their transcripts and going through the program, they were both eligible for that. We have about, from 9 through 12 right now, about 150 students that are in the STEM Pathways program at the Hills, and there's about 130 students roughly at the High that are in the STEM Pathways program. So as the current juniors come through and they become seniors next year, we'll start to see all of the schools that those students are going through. But you can see from the early onset of it, just from the 5 students that graduated last year, it's a tremendous opportunity. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Rachel Villanova, our science supervisor in applied technology.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Kelly and I will be going through a bunch of different program opportunities. We're going to start with the STEM Pathways. So the STEM Pathways is a 4-year program. And for those of you, I see some students in the audience, Ms. Curtis and myself will be in both middle schools come the end of October to really go into the STEM Pathways and explain the registration process, because there is limited space, and how the whole program works. But basically, STEM Pathways allows for a focused program for 4 years where we focus on different STEM electives, opportunities, both activities, possibly an internship, impact projects, and presentations from outside organizations. So students get a realm and varied experience in all sorts of STEM fields. Because a lot of times, I think what we find out is when we go to talk to the students, they say, you know, engineer or doctor. That's always what they go to, is the 2 careers in STEM. And there's so much more. So as we bring professionals, they get to see there's animators, or there's different things in computer science or biomanufacturing. There's just so many different areas that they can specialize in, and it kind of opens their eyes to a whole new world. If your child chooses to go to STEM Pathways, there are 2 pathways that they can choose from, and they don't choose until the end of 10th grade. Everybody comes in as the regular STEM Pathways student. They work towards the yearly criteria of math, science, and STEM electives, a specific GPA, and they have some presentations and a club that they need to attend. At the end of 10th grade, we start to specialize a little bit more. Students who are really excited about STEM and want to push themselves further can apply to get into the Distinction Pathway. The Distinction Pathway includes AP courses that they need to take. It includes a community impact project or an internship, and a higher GPA. So students will choose at that point, and then what happens is, upon graduation, they will get a special endorsement on their transcript. And every year that they are in the STEM Pathways, you will see on their transcript that they are part of the program, so that when you go to apply for colleges, they will also see that they are part of this program. When we started this program, we surveyed, 30 plus colleges and universities to see, does this make a difference on a transcript? Do you like seeing this? And overwhelmingly, the colleges and universities came back and said, yes, we like to see the focused pathway and experience for the students, and them pushing themselves and doing extracurricular activities in STEM. So we do know that this Pathways program can impact college admissions. Kelly, is there anything you want to add about STEM Pathways? Sure. It's a little bit of both. So the impact project, there's STEM Pathways advisors who are going to walk them through the entire process. So it's not you just get into STEM Pathways and they're on their own. They're going to either work with the internship teachers or STEM Pathways advisors, and they will help them go through that impact project along the way. At the end of 10th grade, the STEM Pathways advisors will let them know that it's time to apply, decide what you're going to do. So they're going to get walked through each way, all the way through. And they have meetings throughout the year with their STEM Pathways advisors and check-ins to make sure that they're on track.
So along with the STEM Pathway programs requirements for classrooms, in terms of the classes they take and the clubs that they participate in, our STEM advisors at each high school provide a lot of additional opportunities. So this slide shows a lot of the presentations that we have brought into our district. We've had cybersecurity experts from the State Department come in and give presentations to talk about different ways computer science, programming, and cybersecurity plays into protecting all of our private information and everything that we do online. We've had a lot of local companies that deal with STEM, like Bayer Pharmaceuticals, come in and give presentations about how our program can benefit the students and set them up for careers at Bayer Pharmaceuticals. We've had meteorologists from all over the country come together and give presentations virtually to talk about their role as a meteorologist in different areas around the world. We've had an alumni panel. You know, I don't know if you've noticed, but both of us are women, and we feel very strongly about supporting women in STEM. You know, we need to really encourage young women to enter the STEM field. So we have a panel of alumni women that come to talk to our students, to talk about either if they're in college, what exactly they chose to study in college, or if they're out of college, what career they landed in. That's probably my favorite presentation that we have. Then we also have a former PHS grad that's an astronaut that comes back and speaks to our students. And we have a lot of other creative presentations, and we're constantly looking for more. So that's another thing I want to throw out there. If you want to add to our list of presentations, I'd be happy to take your suggestions. So to give you a little more information about the impact projects, we really call that a passion project, that the students would come up with an idea or a proposal on their own in terms of a problem in our community, whether it's a local community or our larger community throughout our state or country, and they come up with a solution to that problem. And through that project, they research that issue, they research the reasons that that problem exists and what potential solutions are out there. And we ask students through those impact projects to implement the engineering design process for their solutions to come up with a prototype. So some of the projects that our students have done in the past is, this was our very first project and it was amazing. Our senior built a remote or a virtually controlled robotic arm. So, and his problem that he identified was during COVID, when people were working virtually, there were a lot of businesses that required things to be assembled or done in person, but they couldn't do it. So his idea was creating a robotic arm that you could control from another location that could continue to build and manufacture the things that that company needed. It was a very impressive project. We've had students do projects about solutions for pollution, including water filtration. We have also one of my favorites, because I love computer programming and coding. We had students create apps that they could implement and use to help identify indicators for autism and different things like that. And then we had a group of young women that created a solution, almost a toolkit for hospitals to use to reduce medical liquid waste. So they were able to create a prototype for a substance that would absorb that medical liquid waste. So when we talk about impact projects, we're looking at students that are creating prototypes to solve real world problems, okay? And our advisors help students think those things through. And then we also offer a lot of hands-on activities outside of school, during lunch. We had a Puffmobile competition, a Neural Maker hand. You can see them up there. Those are also robotic hands. We had students come in over the summer that worked on coding, building the hand, and then coding to program the hand. And the hands were able to respond to voice activation commands and identify text commands. And they played a really mean game of rock, paper, scissors doing that. So we have some other things that we're piloting where they are brainwave devices that monitor different brain waves and collect data. We have graphic design contests, and we even had some STEM boat design contests. So we do lots of different hands-on things for our students. So Dr. Stevek explained quite a lot about our NJIT programs. I think I want to talk about just a little bit more of the logistics side for us in terms of our process. So for the early admissions, that guaranteed admission that Dr. Eck was talking about, our students that attend either the Hills or the High would apply for that. It's a two-step process through our school system, and they apply after the completion of their freshman year so that we can send a completed freshman year transcript, but that application must be completed before the start of their sophomore year. Because at the beginning of sophomore year, we compile all of the student applications and their transcripts, and we send them off to Dr. Eck, okay? And for the dual enrollment, the college credit courses that Dr. Eck talked about, students starting in their junior year are eligible to enroll. And one of the biggest questions we get is, do the students leave our school and go to NJIT? And they don't. They stay in our school. They're taught by our NJIT approved teachers. And you might be in that class earning NJIT credits because you decided to pay for that discounted tuition to earn them, whereas a student next to you may not, and you wouldn't know who's who. But if you choose to be a part of it, you get a wonderful discount. All right, I do have a daughter that's a freshman in college this year, and I would have loved to have had that opportunity for my daughter, who's majoring in biology, by the way. So some of the classes that qualify, that are eligible for dual enrollment, starting in your junior year, is pre-calculus, pre-calc honors, calculus, the non-AP course, AP Calc AB, and AP Calc BC. If you take AP Calc BC, it will most likely be in your senior year, and that course actually gives you 8 NJIT credits. It gives you credit for Calc 1 and Calc 2, okay? We offer physics honors, AP Physics C, honors engineering and design, forensics, AP statistics, and we're continually working on adding new courses. So as the business supervisor, I'm currently in the process of getting some of our business courses approved, okay?
So just one or two things to add. For more information about the early admissions, Mr. Eck will either be in person or virtual later on in the year, usually around January, and he'll go much more in detail about that process and all the benefits of it. But another thing just to point out, what's the average GPA to get into NJIT? 3.78. 3.78. And if you remember what he had said at the beginning of the presentation, our agreement and our partnership allows a guaranteed spot with a 3.0. So that also gives a really good benefit to joining that program. It takes a little bit of that pressure off of the student. All right. So this slide just kind of outlines the savings of a sample schedule. Now, it's not actually as accurate as we thought, because we thought it was $550 a credit. It's really $774 a credit. So you're actually saving way more than what it's showing up there. So that's always good news. For example, if your 11th grade student took pre-calc or pre-calc honors, honors physics and engineering design, you would save more than $4,500 just in tuition by taking the course here. And in 12th grade, a lot of times students take calculus or calculus AB with AP physics and stats. Again, another almost $5,000 in savings. So you could save $10,000 plus from using this dual enrollment opportunity, which is really a wonderful thing to have, because I know that college is a lot of money. So, and that's just a sample schedule. Could you do more than that? You could do more than that. But we will, it all depends on your interests. Can I see if I answer your question? Yeah. So as you go through it, and so what happens is it's scheduling time when they're going into 11th grade, because this really isn't dealt with until 11th grade. You sign up for the classes that you want. We get the list of people that requested it, and then we send out the information saying, this is how you sign up. We collect the money, and then we send the money over to NJIT. But this is something that you don't really have to worry about that process until you get to 11th grade.
Reimbursement.
Do you want me to do it, or you want to do it?
So when you say reimbursement, you're talking about the savings? Yeah. Yeah, why don't you do that? Yeah, that's good.
So in our contract with dual enrollment, if you choose to go to NJIT, they will look at your transcript. This isn't a guarantee, but there's a possibility that the money that you spent here at the high school for those credits gets reimbursed to you in the form of a grant, which would then make almost these classes for free. But that would be the application process through them. But that is part of our agreement and our contract. So do we want to answer questions now or later?
Let's hold some more questions till the end. We'll answer.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So in addition to the NJIT partnerships as well as the STEM pathways, there are other opportunities that we have that allow for students to go deeper into the STEM fields or pursue other interests that they have. So we're really, really proud of this. So there's the National STEM Honor Society. Last year was our first year with the Honor Society, and Parsippany Hills and Parsippany High School were the first schools in New Jersey to have a chapter of the National STEM Honor Society. This is now going into our second year, and boy, has it grown. So we probably had 30 interested students last year, and we just held our interest meeting, and we are up to about 108 students interested in trying to get this honor. This year, unfortunately, we're not the only ones with the National STEM Honor Society, but there's only one more in New Jersey that has this program. So it does make a very unique experience and allows students to have something a little bit different on their college resume for New Jersey. As far as the STEM Honor Society is concerned, it's about getting a certain GPA, taking STEM electives, and then doing extra enrichment, 120 hours, which is a lot, outside of the school day per year. And they can decide each year if they want to be a part of the National STEM Honor Society. That's how it differs from STEM Pathways. STEM Pathways is a 4-year commitment. This, they can do 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, all 4. It's really up to them. We abide by the chapter regulations, and students are free to try to get that honor. I think we've had some really interesting experiences. We looked at those bios last year. People were in the Governor's STEM Award, they were volunteering at hospitals, and they were getting all these outside experiences that were really, really impressive. Besides the National STEM Honor Society, we also offer industry certifications within our course offerings. So the first one is Onshape Associate. This one is new. So those interested in engineering and CAD, if they take our engineering, CAD, and design course, which is a full year course, they will get the opportunity to learn Onshape. At the end of the course, they will get a code and they will be able to take the exam through Onshape, which is industry recognized, to get an actual certificate that they could take into the workforce. The second option is Cisco. I'm going to let Ms. Curtis talk about it a little bit more because this is her specialty.
So the CCNA certification for cybersecurity, CCNA stands for Cisco Certified Network Associate. And that's a 3-year, 3-course program, starting with a course called Networks, a second course called Switching, Routing, and Wireless Networks, and a third course called Cybersecurity, which is focused on securing networks, so it's network security. Those 3 courses are course curriculums that we've adopted and is approved by Cisco. At the end of those 3 courses, students can sit for the Cisco certification exam and become a certified IT technician through Cisco. So that is something that if a student completes all 3 courses and passes that certification, they can go whether they want to go to college or not, they can go directly into the workforce with an IT certification that's going to land them a job in upwards of $100,000 to start per year. So it's an I will say that it's not an easy program, but it is something that if you're interested in computer science on the hardware side and the networking systems side, where if you want to set up wireless networks, work with networking on computers, this is something that would really give you an incredible opportunity with a very, really powerful certification in the job force, okay? And then the other one that's below it is the Test Out Microsoft Office certification. So this is something that is new. In our districts and in many public schools, we've gone to Google overwhelmingly with our Word docs, Excel docs, things like that. But in the workforce, businesses and internships need students to know how to do Microsoft Office. So one of these slides coming up, I'm going to talk a lot more about our new senior internship program. So as a part of preparing our students for internships, we've created 2 courses in the business department, Business Computer Applications 1 and 2. Those 2 courses will lead you to that Microsoft Office certification. And that is something that when we place students for internships, businesses want to know that students can work with Microsoft Office, okay? Oh, so here's a senior internship slide. So last year was the first year that we piloted our senior internship program. And at each high school, we had a group of about 25 students at each high school that were able to secure and participate in a 4-week senior internship. So what that means is that once AP exams are done in May of your senior year, there are 4 weeks left of school. Any student that is that signs on to do the senior internship and is able to secure a position, those 4 weeks of school, they do not attend school. They attend their senior internship placement. And I just want to show you all of these logos are all of the placements that students experienced just last year. And they are all high-level, professional, skilled internships, okay? So this is different from our co-op program, which students also have an option to do in their senior year. So co-op is where they go to school for half the day and they go to work for half the day. And those jobs could be in anything. But the senior internships are professional level placements, okay? So there's a lot of STEM companies that are on this list, okay? Yep. Okay.
So that's the overview of all the presentations. As you can see, we've been working towards building STEM opportunities in varying areas. The beauty of all of this is a student could take advantage of one of the opportunities that we talked about or all of them. So there's room to just cater it to whatever their needs are. We would like you at this point to put the QR code on your phone and fill out the survey so we can get some feedback. We'd love to hear, what you're looking for in a program, maybe new ideas, things of that nature. Other than that, I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Thompson.
Thank you. So one of the things I just want to close with is, I want you to find the best fit for your son or daughter. However, I think one of the things that I want to make sure that we do is to make everybody more educated about the programs that we have in district. And when you're making those decisions, I think one of the things that I want to improve is to educate our middle school families about what we have to offer. I think other schools that are dependent on tuition or things like that have done a better job of getting their message out there. And if you choose to go somewhere else, I want to make sure that it's a fair comparison between both programs. But let me say this, that with my sons and daughters, I think ultimately the decision that we reached for my kids was that I wanted them to be in the home district because that's where they learned the best. That's where they felt the most connected. And I think Mrs. Carucci and myself would both say the same thing. I came from a large regional district in Hunter County of about 3,000 students. I still think it's a good school, but I think it's harder to feel that connection. What I feel about both schools is we do a great job of finding interests between over 70 clubs and activities, 24 varsity sports that narrow down to tons of fields. And if there's an interest that's there, we have staff that are willing to advise those programs and help kids pursue those interests. But I think with the people that they grew up with in their own community, they can have the best experience. And with our STEM Pathways program, it's like a program within the school. It's like an academy within the school, but we don't have to call it an academy. You see everything that it has to offer. But I wouldn't be selling this if I didn't believe that the best fit and the best opportunities are in this district with these programs, if your child is interested in the STEM field. You've seen what these two amazing supervisors have done in 3 years and the programs that they've built and how they're constantly evaluating and constantly trying to build and improve these programs and increase the opportunities for your sons and daughters. This is just the front end of it. It's going to grow over the next few years. So I would love for them to be part of this. I would love for them to stay as part of their community. I don't want them to have to get on a bus and travel a significant distance and then miss that opportunity and spend time with the people that they grew up with. Because I do feel like this is one of the best parts of this district at both schools is the sense of community at both schools. And that's the first thing that made me love this place when I came to it in 2019. Unfortunately, with COVID, it probably took away some of the best parts of the experiences at both schools. And now we're back to it. And it's a great thing. And I really want everyone in here to be part of that experience. I want your sons and daughters to be part of that experience. So I want to thank Dr. Eck for all his time and willing to stick around and not just present, but just stick around and also answer questions. I want to thank Mrs. Carucci and both our supervisors. Again, this is the start of this conversation. This is the start of this process. So after tonight, it's not like you're on your own, go figure it out, right? So there's going to be a ton of things. If you're anything like me, you're driving home, there's a million questions that start to come up. Don't hesitate to email any of us. We'll find an answer for you. But we'll also have an 8th grade parent night later on in the year in January. But don't wait till then to ask any questions you may have. And we'll stick around and answer any questions that you may have. But thank you so much for taking time and coming straight from work and coming out here tonight. Thank you very much.